Bonjour, hi. Welcome back to another episode of CanadaOne. I'm your host, Matthew, and today we've got a lot of big news to go over. Last episode, I know we went a little slightly different than what we usually talk about, but today we're back to mainly Canadian news. And there's been a whole lot of news since I've been away. So hopefully over the next few days, we'll be able to cover most of what's been missing and really catch up on the news. But, so to start off today, let's get into the main story. Because I want to jump right into this main story because it's so mind-boggling how stupid the government thinks we are. Genuinely, because, the government does things that we're like, oh, okay, well, maybe it was just like a mistake, or maybe, just general government incompetence or slowness or whatever, because the government's made of people too, right? But sometimes there are certain things that happen, certain pieces of news, certain decisions that get made that make you genuinely question if the government has your best intentions at heart. And we know this. We know it's not true. We know they don't. They don't actually care about us. The people who are in charge of running this country, not only this country, but Europe, America as well, do not have your best interests at heart, because fundamentally I think the issue is that our presidents, our prime ministers, our leaders, our democratically elected leaders don't actually run anything. And now people are going, well, how is that possible? We have a president. The American president literally cannot make a sentence together without an injection of cocaine into his arms. The Prime Minister of Canada says things from his ivory tower that makes you question whether this man is even human. And obviously I'm not here to just hate. I'm not just here to hate on left-wing politicians, because sometimes left-wing politicians do good things. And sometimes right-wing politicians do bad things. And lately, both, types of politicians have been doing horrendously. On the left, on the right, no matter what's been going on, every single politician seems to be doing something idiotic and something that goes against what every single person in his own country or constituency has not only voted for, but what they want. And I don't know, maybe it's just a miscommunication from the general populace to the higher ups, the people who actually run things. Obviously, it's not large mega corporations that run everything, because they have so much money and they're able to essentially bribe all our politicians. And it's definitely not this, this fourth branch of government, these secret services that are all, for some reason, super globalist organizations, the CIA, the FBI, all these Mossad, all these, these secret organizations which are supposedly under the rule of, the people. But, you look over the past few decades and you're like, well, it kind of seems like these guys are doing whatever they want to do, doesn't it? But in this case, this seemed to have been a clear-cut case of a criminal doing a bad thing and then getting punished for it. And I'm not talking about George Floyd. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, here in Canada, the truck driver who wasn't even Canadian, the foreigner truck driver who crashed into a bus of a bunch of college-age hockey players and killed several of them, nearly 24 of them. This guy, and we've spoke about this before, but I'll read the article in a second. This guy, okay, who's not a Canadian, he wasn't born in Canada. He came to Canada in 2014. He got his permanent residency in 2018. Or whatever, Anyways, in 2018 in Calgary, he crashes his truck, his 18-wheeler truck, into this, the school bus full of these kids and murders them all. Then he gets prosecuted. He gets charged. and he gets ordered to be deported, which I think already was like slap on the wrist. We should bring back the death penalty. You know what? We should bring back corporal punishment. If Obama can get rid of habeas corpus when interrogating terrorists, why can't we start, abusing prisoners, people who kill people? I think not only should he have been tortured, I think he should have been put to death. But we deported him, okay? Just kidding, I lied. We didn't even deport him. He got orders for deportation, and now, not only is he allowed to stay, he's getting his permanent residency back. Doesn't that just, make you so happy? Doesn't that make you so happy that the foreigner who murders Canadians, not only Canadians, but children, teenagers, gets to stay in Canada and gets to stay as a permanent resident? Doesn't that make you so happy? So let's read the article. The truck driver who caused the deadly Humboldt Broncos bus crash has applied to have his permanent resident status returned. The Immigration and Refugee Board issued a deportation order in May for, listen to this guy's name, Jaskirat Singh Sindhu, and his permanent residency status was revoked. Sindhu is from India and arrived in Canada in 2014. In 2018, while living in Calgary, the rookie truck driver barreled through a stop sign into a path of a junior hockey team bus near Tisdale, Saskatchewan. 16 people on the bus were killed and 13 were injured. Sidhu pleaded guilty to dangerous driving offenses and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. He was granted full parole last year. Oh, okay, so I guess you kill 16 people and you get 8 years and then you get released early. Lawyer Michael Green said his client has applied to remain permanent resident status on humanitarian grounds. Some people don't deserve rights. And, I don't even care. This doesn't even sound like a hot take to me. Some people don't deserve rights. If you are a foreigner, you come into this country. We open our arms and we let you into this country. And you get the welfare and you get everything. You get a massive boost in your standard of living. And then you don't stop at a stop sign, because a lot of these Indians, okay, you see them drive. Their streets don't have stoplights. They don't have stop signs. They don't have anything. They just ride on their three-wheeled scooters or whatever, their mopeds, and they just weave through traffic. So let me tell you something, okay? In Canada, we have road signs and road safety and road regulations where you kind of have to respect them, because otherwise, whoever gave this guy a job, I swear to God, kills people, drives through a stop sign and kills people. The test is what would a reasonable person want to relieve the misfortunes of this individual, Green said. Now, it's against the horrific nature of the consequences of his mistake. He pretty much has everything else going for him in terms of humanitarian grounds. Yeah, I would much rather be in a Canadian prison than an Indian prison. Let's just say that. But we should have not only deported him, we should have killed him. But Green said he likely won't to hear anything about the application for several months, and the application will likely take up to 2 years to process. They look at how well he's established in Canada, what kind of family ties and community ties. They look at the best interest of this child. Yes, he's integrated so well. Kills 16 people, by the way. Sindhu and his wife have a 1-year-old child with severe heart and lung complications. In this case, it really makes a difference. It would be very difficult for that child to live in India with his health conditions. It's in the best interest of the child and is a big issue for him. So deport the guy. Don't deport his kid. His kid had nothing to do with it. His wife had nothing to do with it. Kill this guy. Okay, kill this guy. Oh, he's sorry. He's sorry. Bah, bah, bah. I'm kidding. I'm not advocating for violence. It's just a joke, everybody. But seriously, I don't understand, You kill people, normally you go to prison for several years. He gets 9 years and gets let off parole. And he didn't even kill one person. He killed, several family members of those killed in the crash have said they wanted Sindhu deported. Others have called for him to be allowed to stay. You know what? I'm losing faith in even the Canadian people at this point. Your child gets murdered by a foreigner who cannot drive properly, and you don't want this guy to get deported? And it's got to be like a super tiny minority. There must be like one like Karen going, actually, this guy should be allowed to stay. But it's like, we want to make this place better, and yet our own citizen, like our own people, the Canadian people, are self-sabotaging. It's like all the conservatives. We love to self-sabotage, apparently. I don't get these people. The Reconciliation Action Group in Calgary has extended its support to Sindhu. The Reconciliation Action Group stands against his deportation on the basis that it's racially biased. Mr. Sindhu has a Canadian wife and a Canadian-born child with health issues, and his deportation would harm them. Yeah, what? How is this on racial? How is this racially biased? In fact, it's probably racially biased that he got such a light sentence to begin with, and then he gets to stay now. Calgary MP George Chahal. Let me guess if this. Let's see what this guy is, huh? Google his picture and then you'll figure out everything. Yeah. Okay. Maybe this guy has slight ties. Is also asking federal politicians to block the deportation, saying Sindhu has served his time for the tragic accident. This is genuinely outrageous. What? This is, and then the article goes on to saying Aaron O'Toole, who was the former federal conservative leader before Pierre Poilievre, has, quote, said, I have long believed that he deserves to be granted permanent residency on compassionate grounds, and I say respectful to the families who will forever grieve. I'm so done. I'm so done. This is a good thing we kicked this guy out, but these conservatards too. Oh my God. How? Yeah, it'll impact the family. Maybe he shouldn't have killed 16 people. Maybe. Was that a suggestion? This is genuinely baffling me. This is angering me on such a level. So, are we saying now, we're turning into San Francisco genuinely. So now, if I go kill someone on the street and I say it was an accident, will I get the slap on the wrist sentence? The fact that nobody's outraged about this is angering me. I'm losing faith. We've been infiltrated, okay? Do not think that the fact that we have so many foreigners now, that they're influencing politics now. Now they're letting the foreigner who killed, I have to keep repeating it because it's so outrageous. The foreigner from India who was only in this country for 4 years, who supposedly is super well integrated and made such great community ties. Yeah, community ties with other Indians who I bet don't even speak English. And he goes, 4 years this guy's been here, drives through a stop sign into a bus full of kids, high potential kids who probably, these kids were athletic. These kids were smart enough to not only have all their schoolwork done, but then also participate in the team. The model citizens that we want, the people that we want, these people would have, grown up and become very productive members of society. And this foreigner comes in, kills them. And now, instead of being deported or getting the death penalty, he got 9 years, gets left off early. He gets left off. He served 3 years, people. He was supposed to 9 years. He gets 3 years. He gets out, and instead of being deported, he gets to stay. And just the extra slap in the face, little fuck you to all Canadians. He gets his permanent residency back. Isn't that so fun? Isn't that genuinely just so heartwarming? I'm so done with these, not only these people, I'm so done with this government, and I'm also done with the Conservative Party. I'm done with almost everybody in politics, because these people are so disingenuous and they hate you. And they'll just laugh and laugh and laugh. You see this? They're laughing at you. This is the most horrific story of like 2018, and they're laughing at you. 3 years in prison, gets let out, 9 years early. No, I'm kidding. Gets let, I can't do math. I'm so riled up, I can't do math. Gets let off, 6 years early, and instead of being deported, he gets to stay and gets his permanent residency back. We're going to move on from this story because I'm going to lose my mind. This is angering me so much. I don't even know. I can't even process this because it's all right. Our next story, we'll play we'll have a little happier story. Okay, let's talk about the CBC. Let's keep it happy. All right. The CBC a few weeks ago posted a job posting. They're looking for a new host of the CBC Kids show. So for some CBC Kids show, they're looking for a male kids CBC host. Okay? Here are the criteria to become the host on the CBC, which, by the way, your taxpayer dollars are paying for. You must be a male between 23 and 35. Okay, it's a casting call. We get it. Okay. Any race except Caucasian. Non-union. Must be able to carry a tune. Comfortable being in front of a camera and not afraid to show a silly side. Great with kids. The type of guy that preschool would love to hang around. Okay. Loves physical comedy. Would enjoy hanging out with puppets all day and can be funny on the fly. Wait a minute. Wait. Let's run that back a second. Any male, any race except Caucasian. That's... Is that not racism? That sounds a little racist to me. And this goes on the broader trend about DEI hiring and how it's just blatant anti-white racism. The only systemic racism, and I've said this before and I'll keep saying it, the only systemic racism that exists in our Western societies is anti-white racism. Nearly every job since 2020 has gone to foreigners. Look it up. It's true. And so now, your tax dollars are going and are funding blatant anti-white racism. Well, you can't be racist against white people. Yes, you can. You most definitely can. And they're doing it right now. Then, when this comes to light, and that people actually saw it, the revised casting call was issued, and the Craigslist ad was deleted Monday after critics on X started questioning the restriction. Say you guys do have a voice, and you're making real change. So keep tweeting racist shit on X. I'm kidding. You know what I mean. The exclusion shocked many, including Alex Giebord, a communication consultant in Toronto. Quote, "It is wrong in an ad to exclude people. Women need not apply. Specific races need not apply. Gays can't apply." Yeah, I don't care. The independent agency contracted by the CBC to post the ad said it was a mistake. Quote, "We apologize. We made a mistake and we're apologizing profusely," she said. "I'm mortified," she said. "We were asked to seek a cast of diversity. We mistakenly took that to mean that the production was not seeking Caucasian actors. This was a mistake that was entirely by the casting companies. Of course it's open to all ethnicities." Really? Really. I find it so interesting that in countries that are majoritarily white and have been historically for the past literally hundreds of years, that all of a sudden now you can't even have a host of a national, broadcasting network that's somewhat representative of the, large majority of the population. You can't even have a white host because that would anger the 30% people who are minorities. At CBC, inclusion and diversity is a priority. Well, I think that's the problem. I think we found the problem with the CBC, everybody. Maybe if their priority was making actually good content, and this also applies to Disney, so listen up, guys. Maybe if you guys were in the business of making good content, you guys would have been, more people would tune in, maybe. And then maybe you wouldn't have to suck so much government resources, and maybe Pierre Poilievre wouldn't literally shut you down. Because it's going to happen next year. You guys are getting shut down. Just kidding. Pierre Poilievre probably won't. Just like he probably won't cut immigration. And he probably won't do anything good. Because conservatards are as bad as libtards. So yeah, it goes to this broader extent. It's like, you want to talk about DEI. At first it was, well, look, first we need to get a little bit more diversity because it's, we're only getting too many whites. And everyone was like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's go. Then it became, well, we want employees who are representative of the, of the entire population. And it's like, well, okay, this is the main problem that Jordan Peterson had. And I'm not, I don't support Jordan Peterson, especially recently. Look up the beef he's been having with Nick Fuentes. But, it became this sort of thing where it was like, well, we have to get one, the population is made up of this. So we need to have 9% black. We need to have 3% indigenous. We had, and now it's getting to a point where it's no more whites need to apply. Whites need not apply. Because, they're racist. Simple as that. They're racist. And everyone goes, well, you can't be racist against white people. And I always ask, why not? Well, because, slavery and stuff. Were white people never slaves? Yeah. That's the stupidest argument you could possibly come up. In the most tolerant societies that have ever existed in the history of humanity, every Western country, and yet we're still being attacked as if we are the most racist place on the earth. How about, you try moving to Israel? How about you try moving to any country in the Middle East as a woman and not absolutely follow their religion of Islam and not wear an entire hijab or burqa or whatever it may be? Then you tell me, who's the more open society? But the problem is that we've gotten so wealthy, we've gotten so comfortable, especially white people. And, Canadians as a whole have gotten so comfortable and gotten so tolerant and so afraid to be called racist or, white supremacist that we'll go along with anything. And I'm here to tell you, it's over. We're done with this. We will not support your DEI policies anymore. We haven't been supporting them because it's blatant racism. And I thought we were all about not seeing color. But all these postings about DEI jobs and about, more diversity, more inclusion, more equity. When Martin Luther King spoke, I thought the whole point was, let's not see color anymore. Treat everyone as equal. Now, what you're doing is not only you're tipping the scale, and this is happening across every university campus. This is happening across every job now. And to say it's not happening is either naive or ignorant, because it is happening and it's the reality. And this is a problem, especially when you've got a massive influx of migration. Anyways, quick reminder that the Indian immigrant who was here for 4 years murdered 16 people and now is getting to not only stay, got out of prison 6 years early, and also is getting his permanent residency back. All right, let's move on to the next story. It's so funny, isn't it? Finally, some good news. The Green Party co-leader steps down. citing personal reasons. And he won't elaborate whatsoever. So the Green Party has been having a tumultuous few years recently, going through a series of leadership changes. Starting back with Anna May Paul, the first indigenous lesbian, I believe, who was she a lesbian? Let me find this. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe I lied. Maybe I lied. The first Jewish woman and black person elected to lead a major federal polling party. Huh. Isn't that interesting? My bad, guys. She's just Jewish. Anyways, so this woman, Anna May Paul, came in to replace Elizabeth May as the new Green Party leader, in order to kind of revamp the party into a more diverse and young party. Yeah. Then during the last election, the entire party absolutely crumbled. They lost a bunch of seats. I think they're down to 2 seats now. And they had a complete meltdown. Is even in places where historically they've been winning massively, and those would be like major city centers, because city centers, as we know, are more liberal. Why? Because higher immigration, and because these are the college-educated intellectuals. But in these places, this is historically where the Green Party's won. And for some reason, the people who are most isolated away from nature are the ones who are most cognizant of nature, who are most, locked in and focused on the effects of climate change. Seems interesting. Anyways, Anna May Paul steps down, and they start searching for this is in 2021, I believe. Yes, in November 2021. She steps down, saying there was way too much infighting, and that people in the party are trying to sabotage her. The tumultuous period in the Green Party of Canada may be coming to an end now that the party has accepted Anna May Paul's resignation. Quote, I asked myself whether this was something I wanted to continue, whether I was willing to put up with the attacks I knew would be coming. I don't understand. Who's attacking the Green Party leader? Okay, there's like 1 million people who vote for these people. This is the most irrelevant party. It's so interesting how you look at Canadian politics, and especially on a scale. And then you have the Liberals, the Bloc, you've got the NDP and the Green Party. You've got all these left-wing parties, and what are your alternatives? The Conservatives, and then, now the People's Party, which are the actual only base party. Anyways. It's not clear whether the blah, 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 don't care. Paul has been the leader of the Green Party for just over a year. Green members made Paul, a bilingual former diplomat, the first Jewish woman and the first black person elected to lead a major federal party in Canada. Her election was supposed to usher a change for the party that ran one of the least diverse slate of candidates in the 2019 election. But that began to publicly unravel in July when Fredericton MP Jenica Atwin crossed the floor and joined the Liberals. Anyways, so they lose a bunch of things, and then Elizabeth May comes back. And during this tumultuous time, even the president of the party leaves. The Green Party president quits, tells members that the dream is dead. Which I think is pretty funny. And I think she's right. Good. Let's beat him to death. Let's give him 0 seats. Let's get it. She says that, laying out over 3 pages, Reckman called her tenure as party president turbulent. Reckman took the job a year ago. The Greens were in a meltdown after an attempt dump of the former leader Anna May Paul before the federal election. Anyways, now I see that, for me, the dream is dead, she states. I am exhausted and my optimism has died. Good. It should have died. Because the Green Party, not only are they like a one-trick pony, they have no clue about what's going on. And, obviously it's one of these parties that I don't think they actually think they're going to win. I think let's be serious with these people. They don't actually think that these people are going to run the government, okay? The Green Party? What are we, Europe? We're not gay like that yet. Then, after all of this, Elizabeth May comes back into power, and then they start the process of having a dual leader. So they start having two leaders. And this guy, Jonathan Pednote, another black guy, it appears, became the also ruling leader of the party. And now he's stepping down. This news comes a few weeks ago. Green Party Deputy Leader Jonathan Pednote has announced that he's stepping down from his job for personal reasons. It was an honor of a lifetime to serve alongside Elizabeth May. Anyways, he said his decision to step down has been in the works for several weeks and is very likely his return to his previous work abroad, that he is free from responsibilities of the party. Pednote and leader Elizabeth May replaced Anna May Paul, who stepped down in 2021. Pednote won the leadership of the party in fall 2022 in a co-leadership ticket with May, who previously served as party leader from 2006 to 2019. Wow, these guys are really making waves. This guy, Pednote, who's the co-leader of the party, came in fourth place in his own seat, coming behind the Liberals, the Conservatives, and the NDP. Now it's just going to be May for now, as the party starts to reamp to try and get a new co-leader. We'll see what happens at the special general meeting. We'll see what model of co-leadership gets accepted or gets rejected, May says. It's a process. The Green Party system is night and day from the top-down structure that exists in other parties. Okay, who cares? What? You guys are going to lose. May, who is 70, suffered a hemorrhagic stroke a year ago. Despite the setbacks, she insists she is in remarkably good health and working longer hours than most people half my age could handle. Wow, she really sounds like Joe Biden. Maybe she's a little bit more competent. Am I ready? Sure, of course, she said. I would be much, much happier if I was going to do this with Jonathan, because that was our plan all along. I wouldn't have run for leadership if we hadn't met. Quote, and then she ends it. Quote, I feel very committed, as I think everyone my age should, she said. Quote, baby boomers have fucked this planet, and we can't walk away and leave it for our kids to fix it. Well, at least she said something correct. At least she was right about that. The baby boomers have fucked the planet, but it's been liberal policies that have been fucking this planet. And I mean, I don't even talk about the climate change issue. It's like, yeah, they fucked you. Baby boomers have fucked you. They're the problem. Tell your grandparents right now to sell their house to you, because that's the only way we're going to fix this housing crisis. Besides literally stopping immigration and deporting people who probably should commit crimes. 16 kids dead. The guy gets to stay. He's from India and gets his permanent residency back. And our final story of tonight, something real fun. Welfare costs are exploding in Germany. You want to take a guess why? Because there's a left-wing government in charge. And they've been, Germany has been one of the largest recipients in all of Europe in terms of migration. Take a guess of what percentage of all welfare is going to foreigners. You guessed too low. 47.3% of all welfare costs in Germany are going to foreigners. Quote, Germany is experiencing exploding welfare costs under the ruling far-left government, with recipients receiving a record 42.6 billion in euros, by the way, in citizen money, which is in 2023, compared to 36.6 billion in 2022. There's now a record 5.5 million people who are on citizen benefits, which is what Germany calls its welfare system. Approximately 47.3% were non-German foreigners. In addition to that, there was a record 6.3 billion euros in administration costs for this welfare, which is 300 million more than in 2022. With everything added up, the total welfare cost is up to 48.9 billion euros. And now they're noting that this is 14% higher than 2023, 18% higher than 2020, and 23% higher than 2015. Now you've got a lot of these big business associations in Germany which are criticizing, and they're actually accusing the left-wing government for trying to cripple the German, finances. And then the AfD, which is the far-right party that's gaining a lot of popularity in Germany, especially with young people, because they actually care about their country. And they released a statement about the soaring cost of citizen allowance. Quote, "Which country in the world allows itself to be exploited in this manner? The percentage of people receiving benefits have more than doubled than 2010. And we are the only ones talking about, and we are only talking about the people who do not have German citizenship. German citizens with migration backgrounds are not included in the 47.3%. Not only that, Germany, on top of that, was supposedly was supposed to have rejected 300,000 asylum seekers. Now they're saying, and it just came out, that they're actually still in Germany and they're still getting free health care. Wow, la-di-da. And I thought we were doing, I thought we were bad. Not only that, but guess who's committing all the crimes? Probably Indians who have been in the country for 4 years and blow through stop signs and murder a bunch of kids. The German government does not track migration background of individuals once they receive German citizenship, which is also the same case for German crime statistics, which nonetheless show that 41% of all crimes, 6 out of 10 of violent crimes are committed by, drumroll please, foreigners. Wow, isn't that so fun? Anyway, so it's the same thing everywhere, it's all these left-wing governments, it's all these places, it's all the exact same thing. Mass migration, crippling the financial system, ignoring the fact that mass migration is not good, that these foreigners are not good for Germany, they're not good for France, they're not good for Italy, Norway, Sweden, most of Europe, 99% of Europe. Actually, you know what? 100% of Europe. They're not good for America. It's not good for Canada. Anyways, I got a little riled up on today's episode. Thank you as always for listening, and make sure to keep fighting because the government hates you. Stay Canada first. Stay CanadaOne. I'll catch you next time.